Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble video I want to talk about a problem in the game and a solution that I think could really make the game more enjoyable. And there is a dungeon problem in Warcraft Rumble. And no, I'm not talking about 3 gargoyles coming at my base. I'm not even talking about a bunch of earth elementals and armies of spiderlings being summoned at my base. No, this is something more fundamental, and it has to do with dungeon progression. The problem is that eventually you're going to run into a situation where the dungeons are just too difficult to progress. And then, well, what then? You can't do anything. You can't play a dungeon that week. If you can't progress, then you can't progress. And this problem is inbuilt in the way dungeons work in Warcraft Rumble. So how do dungeons work in Warcraft Rumble? Well, your progress is saved for each leader. You can never go back. So you complete the dungeon with the leader. You can only play one family leaders each week. So then 4 weeks later, the same leaders are going to come up again, and you start with the difficulty level that you reached. Each boss skill on a new difficulty or on a new week gives you arc energy. Dungeon levels 5 to 22 give you army bonus slots, so those are really important. You want to get full golden army plus 3 bonus levels on all minis on your army. Then levels 23 to 29, they each give you 100 coins, in addition to all of the dark energy, of course. And then finally there's level 30, which gives you a major tome, and that one is repeatable. So once you get to the point where you can farm level 30, then that's repeatable once for each leader per cycle, so each week you can do it 3 times. So that's the basic dungeon design, but there is a problem. This all works well as long as you can get new level every 4 weeks. So you come back to the same leaders, your armies are now stronger, you can clear further, and everything is fine. Or if you can repeat level 30 dungeon, which requires quite hefty minis. But what if you don't get new levels within 4 weeks? Then you just can't progress, you're not any better than you were 4 weeks ago. Also note that there are some other factors that can affect this, like various dungeons can be of different difficulty. There's relic imbalances, so if you get the life leech relic, the lifesteal relic, then you can clear multiple levels beyond what you usually can, and then you might get stuck if you can't find that relic. But I'm not even talking about relic imbalance, I'm not even talking about dungeon imbalance, I'm talking about a fundamental restriction with the way the system is designed. Because if you're a free-to-play or even if you're a low-spending player, then you will start to hit a wall where within 4 weeks your minis just have not progressed a single level. Depending on what you spend, depending on how much you play, you can reach this in around 2 to 4 months. So the first time you get into a dungeon with a new family, hey, that's awesome. The second time is going to be great. The third time is probably also going to work well, just fine. The fourth time or the fifth time the same family comes up, or at the latest 6th time unless you're a whale and you can really spend so much that you will just get to clear those level 30s, then you're just in a position where, okay, your minis haven't advanced, you cleared as high as you could last time, assuming similar level of difficulty on the new dungeon, you cannot progress. And Blizzard thinks that at this point you're supposed to clear the first 2 bosses so that you can get some arc energy anyway for the week, because you get arc energy for each kill, but that doesn't work at all. That just doesn't work at all. Because for most dungeons, the 3rd boss is not the most difficult one. So if you can clear the first 2 bosses, you usually clear the entire dungeon. But if you clear the whole dungeon, then next time you might not even be able to clear the 1st boss. And if Blizzard tried to fix this by making the 3rd boss the most difficult one, so okay, now you kill the first 2 bosses and die at the 3rd, that would make everything worse. That would be so much worse. Because then you would often have to restart the dungeon after killing 2 bosses and then, okay, back to the beginning, because 3rd boss would be so difficult and would require so many attempts. So that would just make everyone feel really bad. So that would just make things so much worse. One solution that I have seen suggested is to make the dungeons D-rank if you fail to clear it. So okay, you didn't make any progress next week, and it's going to be a little bit easier for you. Well, I don't think that is really a solution. Like, okay, well then players can reach full golden teams before level 22 if rewards keep going up, but I'm not sure if that's really a problem with this. But there will be lost weeks. You go too high, especially let's say you go really high with lifesteal relic and an easy dungeon, you're like 3 levels above what you can do, and then you're just going to D-rank for months. Yeah, this is not a feel-good solution at all. I don't think this is even nearly an adequate solution. but an adequate solution could be built into the game. And a true solution to this issue would be to make the dungeon difficulty a selection. You unlock difficulty levels as you progress. Have you cleared level 5? Okay, level 6 opens up. Now you can choose whether you want to go into a level 5 or whether you want to go into a level 6. Then you get rewards for clearing each new difficulty, like you do now, and also for clearing the highest difficulty you do each week. Well, let's say your maximum is now like 27, but you got there with some cheese and an easy dungeon, and you can really only do maybe like a 24. Okay, just choose 24 and complete that, and you get your weekly rewards for 24. Problem solved. If you think it's going to be too confusing for a new player, like Blizzard always thinks everything is too confusing for everybody, then make the default option the next level that you haven't cleared yet. And then you can just click and choose a lower level if you want. That way, if you just keep clicking go, 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 then you're always going to the next level, which is what a new player does anyway. But then when you get stuck, alright, there's the option to lower the difficulty. There are various scenarios that need to be considered here, like remember Blizzard made those PvP crest changes and there were some apparent things that would happen and they didn't care and then those things happened and then they hotfixed them away. Yeah, like that. So for example, we can immediately conclude, hey, what about relics? If relics are re-rolled every time I successfully clear something, then I'm just going to successfully clear level 5 a bunch of times until I get the lifesteal relic, and then I go into a very high level dungeon. And that incentivizes just spamming low level dungeons until you get a good relic roll and then go into a high level one. So, alright, well we can avoid that. If relics only reroll when a new difficulty level is cleared, in addition to the daily reroll, then we don't have the incentive to spam low-level dungeons for a good relic roll. So we can avoid problems by using our minds and foresight. Amazing, isn't it? Another thing that I would like to see in conjunction with this is that the difficulty levels would offer you meaningful improved rewards. Right now the rewards, for example the Arc Energy reward, improves by 10 for each boss and 20 for the final boss. So for the Arc Energy per clear for a new difficulty level, it's not a whole lot. Blizzard could improve the Arc Energy budget a little bit. Arc Energy is a resource that people are running out of by now, and they could improve the budget for that and also use it so that each level feels more meaningful. Remember, you will need millions of Arc Energy eventually to upgrade all of your minis, and you can only get a couple thousand each week. So it's not like Blizzard is running out of upside to provide a little bit better reward budgets. Blizzard could easily afford this. Obviously, this would still be optional. Another consideration with a system like this would be that currently the level 30 reward is actually worse than the level 29 reward. You get a little bit more Arc Energy, but you get a Major Tome, which is worth 60 coins, whereas for level 29 you get 100 coins. So this would need to be fixed so that the level 30 reward is actually better than level 29, or otherwise people end up running level 29 instead of 30, and you don't want that to happen. The levels just need to feel like they are worth progressing through. Overall, the dungeon problem is not that difficult to solve if you just try to build the game thinking about a couple of really basic fundamentals. First of all, you want your systems to be intuitive. It's always useful to progress. Completing a more difficult challenge always gives you more than completing an easier challenge. Intuitive. Yes, players can grasp that. Build systems that are not frustrating. Okay, if I can't progress anymore, I can do an easier version for a little bit lesser rewards, or if I can progress further, I get more rewards. Very, very simple. I'm not getting into a position where, okay, if I can't do this, I get nothing, which is a terrible feeling. And make players feel like you value their time. You're actually giving them rewards based on the time that they spend, based on that, hey, they are playing your game, so you're giving them something for that. Make players feel that, so that it's meaningful for them. Progressing is meaningful. And that's pretty much it. That could already solve the dungeon problem. So perhaps this problem was not apparent at launch. I mean, it could have been mathed out, of course, because Blizzard knew exactly what kind of progress players are going to have. But right now, more and more players are starting to get to the position where they just can't progress dungeons. There would be a relatively simple fix for this that would make players feel more valued for their time and make dungeons stay interesting week in and week out. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.